love and adore the show. So maybe we can still keep it going even after the actual show, well, quote unquote, ends the contract on, well, 2020. Man, it's just crazy because this show has there are so many uncharted avenues that the show can take even after. Oh, here we go. It looks like we're back on the air. Okay, it looks like we have live. Everything is in green. Thank goodness. All right. Well, let me just make a quick announcement. Make sure everybody can hear us. Hey, everybody. It looks like we have some tech issues. It looks like we're back on the air again. Can a couple people at least chat to see if everything is up and running? Can you see the stream? Can you hear me and Chandler clearly? Looks like we're live. It's only we got some people coming. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, I see some chats in. Good job. I can hear. Yes, there we go. Sorry, people. Tech issues. No idea what happened, but we're back better than ever. Let's hope we can keep it that way. Now, to pick up where we left off, Chandler was giving us a great discussion about the Candace and Veronica team up. And now, if you want to just pick up where we left off there.
I was just saying that they have teased it. Well, we've been waiting for it since season 1. For episode 23, they teased the team up. And for just Veronica to die, all these seasons for it, if she dies, and it's just, no, it'll just be a waste.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, aside from the Veronica Candace team up, if she were to die, I mean, I'm not saying the show couldn't continue without Veronica, but yeah. I mean, not just plot point, but plot points. I mean, you look at everything Veronica had her fingers dipped into. I mean, theoretically speaking, if Veronica were to die, a lot of people would just be letting out a breath of relief, a sigh of relief. But at the same time, there are just way too many unresolved plot points that she was a part of.
Exactly. The team up being one, the team up being the main one, I believe.
Yep, that's right. I agree. I mean, there's just so much that can come from that team up itself, but based off the actual, oh, hang on a second. People are saying, are we offline again? All right. It looks like it did go offline for like a couple of seconds, but now it says live again. So can everybody still see and hear what's going on? And while we're waiting on that, response, I just wanted to let you know that again, based off the article saying that Candace has the option to erase her past, but then still wants to live her life of, conning people. There's just no telling what's going to happen. I just feel like if those two were to team up, one might assume that Candace could be the weak link in that duo because she'll be willing to throw everything away for revenge. Or Veronica might off herself if the grandchild is dead. So I honestly can't tell you who I think is the weak link because based off this article, both of them have cracked chinks in their armor that can destroy any alliance that they have going on.
And see, another thing about Candace is, she's like Jim. She works off emotion.
Yep, that's right. But
that's a good lead to somebody as well. That's a good quality, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous that those two have so much potential. Well, when you think about it, they're both reckless because what was the episode? I could be wrong, but season 1, Angry Sex. It was the one where Jim snuck out of his office at the courthouse and met with Candace at a hotel. And that was the same hotel that David went to and saw that Jim lost his watch there. And I believe during that was one of my favorite episodes.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember that episode well because Tinka Sumter replied to one of my tweets, and that inspired me to start my blog 3 years back. I believe the question I asked her was, you know what, is Candace comfortable with who she is? And Tinka said that Candace is secure in her imperfections, and that makes her perfect. Basically, she's who she is because she knows who and what she is. Now, the thing about that episode that I really like to talk about is the fact that Jim says, Candace, like, I don't feel sorry for you. You have money, you have everything, you have power, but you're just willing to throw that away for reckless abandonment. And Jim even confesses, I don't know if it's like a midlife crisis or something like that because I've turned 50. That could explain a few things. But at the same time, Candace is the same way because they're both reckless. They love a good challenge. They don't like losing. And they see a lot of themselves in each other. So that's why I think that even though Candace has this golden ticket.
I think that's why they gravitated toward each other so well.
That's right. And anybody caught in that meteor belt, they're going to be hitting a crossfire. So that's why at the end of the day, it would not surprise me if those two are the last ones standing while everyone and everything around them is pretty much burned to the ground. No pun intended on the burning house there.
Yeah. And Jim's house has burned down.
Yep. That's right. It's just crazy to think.
And that's it. Everything, most happened in the first 100 episodes, 107 of the has-nots that we've gotten so far. All goes back to that season 1, episode 1, scene 1.
Yep. I mean, that's why I liked it in the finale where Jim approached Candace in the hotel hallway. It was kind of harkening back to their first encounter where Candace came into Jim's door while it was really Jim who came up to Candace's front door. And it was all about just reestablishing the fact that look at everything that's happened between that episode and episode 1. It all goes back to those two wanting to get the better of the other. And as a result, everyone suffers for that. But, I mean, the fact that Angela said that, will she let Jim slide for his role to her little boy's death? Now, the question is she referring to the fact that Candace might think that Jim was telling the truth about having a sharpshooter, or she finds out that Jim was the one that got Warlock out of jail, which was indirectly the cause of Quincy Jr. dying? That's one question I want to know.
I want to say that when they were kind of talking, I think maybe she feeling that Jim, because Jim did say that Warlock told him about this, or Jim did say that he told Warlock about the $7.4 million.
Yep.
Candace is, as smart as Candace is, she'll probably piece it together. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, wasn't Warlock the one that even said, like, I think he was talking to Jim, is like, oh yeah, that's right, because Jim called Warlock while he was sitting there with Mama Rose, and he was talking about Mitch, but Warlock said, look, ain't nobody tell me that boy, that little boy was in there and that's why he got killed. And it's like, what, that kid? Yeah, that baby. Oh no. So Jim knew. I mean, obviously Jim knew because.
Yeah, Jim.
Oh, go ahead.
But Jim was like, well, no, actually, Jim was like, what kid? You mean the kid?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And that's why Jim kind of threw it in Candace's face.
Mama Rose made Jim Warlock. And Warlock said, man, I didn't know that kid was in there. And Jim was like, you mean to tell me you shot a little kid?
Yeah. I mean, that just shows that even though Jim is ruthless, even he has his own boundaries, it seems, when it comes to, like, you know, killing children. It's just ridiculous. And that's why I just hated how Warlock exited the show, just because it was just so out of his character. I mean, I get that Candace drove him to that state, but he was just a character I didn't enjoy watching because he was literally a monster. Like, Quincy was in his own right a monster, but then Warlock, I guess maybe because we saw Warlock as a ally, a friend, and like a brother to Benny and Candace, and then he literally just turned into something else. And here's another good question in regards to Veronica.
Making all these stupid mistakes. He was just making all these stupid mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, Candace and Jim make decisions based off their emotions, but Warlock just took it. Oh yeah, exactly, and that's why I hate it. Like him and Maggie, these characters who are so cool and calculating, just making obvious mistakes that are clearly out of their characters. And also, speaking of Veronica, and I want to make
even somebody from Warlock's crew.
Yeah, I mean, he literally said, "But that's Mama Road." Like, but that's Mama. Get in the car. But okay, here's one question I've been meaning to ask. I've been meaning to ask this question. When it comes, and again, this is probably something I was hinted at, but really didn't go anywhere. Remember both times when Veronica was almost raped by Quincy? Did you think she liked it?
I'm sorry, what did you say about she was raped by Quincy?
Yeah, remember both times he snuck into her house and tried to have his way with her? Do you think she liked it?
You know what? I think in a way she did kind of like it. In this big bold, I am Veronica, I am boss. She wasn't going to let on she liked it at all. She got Quincy out of jail to do something, and she wanted to stick those guns.
You know what? You know what? I think that it goes back to control. I think in a twisted way she did enjoy it, but it was a situation that she was not in control of. Yes, having a man, I believe, remember when she was bragging to David about Maggie being dead. He stopped the vehicle and then drug her out of the car, and she was all excited. Ooh, I haven't had action like this in years. And so I'm guessing like the fact that Warlock was literally going to take advantage of her was something she didn't want because it wasn't a controlled situation.
You mean Quincy?
Sorry. Yeah, Quincy. Yeah. So in a way, I wanted that to be brought up again, like in terms of I wanted Quincy to find out that Veronica and Benny were a thing. And then he would be even more mad at Benny because Benny was freely getting something that he tried to take multiple times but wasn't able to get. And that was Veronica.
Exactly. I think that's finding out. Benny basically, 2 times, basically, Benny got Quincy out and just beat him to a pulp.
Pretty much. And the thing about every time that Benny beat up Quincy, once at the strip club and once when, he wrecked the truck, those were controlled fights. Candace said in the past, it's like, look, Hannah, don't trigger Benny when it comes to Quincy because they got into it before. Excuse me. I can't tell who would actually win a fight because in both fights that Benny won and both times they fought, Benny controlled the situation. So I'm not saying that I disliked it because of that. It's just hard to gauge which one of them will actually win because Benny lost to Warlock. He was losing to David. Well, at least as Mitch said, look, that old man was putting up a good fight. So it's really hard to gauge exactly who Benny can take down and who he can't because I do like seeing him playing things ahead, though, like orchestrating these schemes to get, kind of backing up here. How differently do you think things would have turned out if Benny would allow Warlock and his crew to come with him to the strip club to get revenge on Quincy for hitting Hannah? That would have been a completely different ball game.
Oh, yeah. And see, the thing that interests me is what if Benny would have found out that Veronica was the one to get Quincy out of jail to basically kill his sister.
Yep, and as a result, his mom got caught in his mom got caught in the crossfire. It's ridiculous. I feel at some point it has to be let out that she let him out of jail. I mean, I know a few people know, but not like, Benny or even Candace. And correct me if
Yeah,
I'm.
I'm sure Candace. I'm sure Candace suspects something, but Benny is just.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, do you think Candace actually ratted out Quincy and that's why he got arrested in the first place? I always thought there was something funky about that. I thought that Veronica kind of forged some documents to make it look like Candace did it just to rile up Quincy, so when she let him off the chain, he would instantly go to attack her. I didn't believe it for 1 second that Candace dropped dime.
Because remember, at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2. Close to the end of season 2. Remember, Candace told Benny and Hannah that she gave Quincy up for a murder a long time ago.
Oh, that's right.
Killed her son.
Yeah. Oh, here's another good question. Wasn't it season 3 when it was when Candace began to open up to Oscar about her past and whatnot, and Oscar convinced her to go down to the jail to talk with Quincy? That was another important scene that I like that. That was a pretty good scene. Because Candace just made it clear, like, I mean, yeah.
That was actually the first scene that we had ever got between Candace and Quincy themselves, the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, Quincy was downright like, look, I'm going to kill you in front of our son. I was like, dang, ruthless.
You take no prisoners, do you?
Oh, exactly. That was just, man, crazy. Well, I mean, I guess that leads up to Quita, and Candace going at it in that jail cell. I just wonder how both of them are going to be put in jail, like, what they're going to be arrested for.
I don't know, because see, I think that maybe I don't know if they're both arrested or if they're both there to see
Jeffrey.
Quincy, because
I agree.
I think Candace is there to see Jeffrey.
Yeah, that's what I thought based off the trailer the first couple of times I watched it. Then when I did that like a 30-minute trailer breakdown, because that's what it looked like. Candace was there to talk with Jeffrey. And honestly, let's be honest here. It would not surprise me if Justin allowed Candace to go back there to talk with Jeffrey face to face. Well, at least through the bars. Then Quita Maxwell probably got the same liberty of going back there, and that's why they were talking. And then when I looked at the preview again and then noticed the two of them in the same cell talking, and then one of the guards holding back Candace, and then all the other inmates laughing along with Candace, that led me to believe that both of them were in some kind of fight, but then Candace was actually whooping Quita's ass, because if Quita was winning some kind of fight they were having, the guard would have went after her instead of Candace. So there's just no telling what's going to happen. But what I think, and I've said this time a couple times before, I think that those two might get into some kind of scuffle. Candace is going to win and then just think that Quita's nothing but some second-rate trash, like not even a threat. And because of that, Quita's going to be possibly the biggest villain behind the scenes this season. And we also get to that picture that scene in the trailer where we have a shirtless Benny and we have a woman on the screen, but we only see her hair. And I did the video saying that it could be Quita just based off that hairstyle. So she might be trying to use Benny to get to Candace.
It could be. And another thing about Quita is, since Quincy's dead and Warlock is dead, basically the main drug lord of the streets now, well, except not even talking about the Malones, but she's basically like the main gang banger, whatever.
Yep, you've heard me say that plenty of times. I mean, that's why she should not be underestimated. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but at the same time, she has all of that power. If anything, again, parallel storylines and character personalities, Quita could be another Candace in terms of she has all the cards on her table, all this power, but the question is, does she really know how to use it properly? And I feel like that's what this season's all about.
Exactly. And see, that even goes into another thing. If Mitch Malone finds out that Quita is after Candace in a way, that could raise.
Lord, we can.
That could call. Mama Rose could call. Candace could call Mama Rose and say, "All right, we need to take care of Quita Maxwell now."
Yeah, I think that if it came down to it, she would use her favor with the Malones to get rid of Quita and her crew rather than just Jim Cryer. Yes, she can make the call to get rid of Jim, but I feel like there's so much more to go along with that. I feel like Candace's plans for Jim is that woman we see in the trailer that's having sex with Jim. Probably another quote unquote Erica to con him out of money. But yeah, I feel like the Malones taking care of Quita and her crew would just like extinguish, like Quincy and Warlock's line of drug trafficking in the city, because aside from the Malones, yes, Quita and her people are pretty much the last one standing. And it's hard to tell. I don't even think they respect Quita enough to follow her lead. True, because her brother's dead, she's technically in charge, but I don't think her crew members will actually give her the respect, because they, even in episodes where we saw her on her side of town, everybody really wasn't willing to do what she said. But the only reason she got stuff done was saying that when my brother comes back, I want to tell him about you, so you better do what I say.
See, she doesn't have that leverage now.
Nope. I mean, everybody is really free to do what they please, and I think that having a power struggle within her own ranks is going to cause even more tension. So when the time comes to activate any plan against Candace, it's just going to fall apart. So that would make them an easy kill. I feel like they'll be killed off a lot easier than even Warlock and his crew at the restaurant, and that's saying something.
Oh, that's saying a lot. And speaking about Quita, I wonder where Evelyn is.
I don't know. That's a good question.
You remember, because you know who Evelyn is, right?
Yeah, wasn't she the girl that Veronica had like a spy within Quita's ranks, and then she was taken off screen?
No, that was Xena.
Zena.
No, that was Xena. I'm talking about. Remember, Hannah was talking to one of her neighbors about Quincy's mama, Evelyn.
Yeah, that's a good point. Didn't she say Evelyn moved? Didn't she move somewhere?
You moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Moved to Atlanta, interestingly enough. And I don't know. See, this could be a good time. If Quita does get. See, I kind of thought that when Quincy got killed, we would see Evelyn come into the picture some way or somehow, but apparently not.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, one can only hope, because, again, so many times when these characters have been in near-death situations or been locked up in jail, you would think we would get a glimpse or a first-time appearance of their extended family, parents, siblings, whatever, but we never seen it. One can only hope, because it would be great to see her, because she was mentioned in early season 3, but we just haven't seen her at this point. So with Quincy dead, it would be interesting for her to make an appearance. So I definitely agree with that. So, gosh, there's just so much to talk about, because I don't want to hype up this season. Let me just put it this way. The hype is real, because the question is whether or not Veronica survives. But this season has the opportunity to be a game changer for the haves and the have-nots. New characters, backgrounds explored, a power struggle. There's just so much that this season could deliver, but the question is, will it be executed properly? That's the main question.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I just don't see why we have all these. Before we get any new characters, of course we already know we're going to have some, but before we get any new characters, I just think there are so many questions that need to be answered and so many plot points that need to be resolved.
Yeah, if that ain't the truth. I mean, remember when Melissa's mom made her first appearance in the hospital? That was one of my favorite scenes from last season. She came in, and within 3 to 5 minutes, I was completely satisfied with her character. I'm like, she made a quick introduction, we saw just enough of her to know what kind of person she is, and she already has a relationship and connection to both Veronica and Melissa. I was complete within those first few minutes. I was more satisfied than like the first few episodes we got with Charles, because I was scratching my head like, who is this guy and where did he come from? But then Melissa's mom, we already knew, hey, she was an old friend of the Harrington family. She gave us some exposition and backstory about Melissa being suicidal in the past. That was good. Same thing if we have Quincy's mother be introduced, Candace's father, Veronica's mother, and the Catherine's siblings, and the list goes on. So there is just so much this season could offer us, but I just don't want to get so hyped up and then be disappointed as a result.
Yeah, I don't either. And by the way, Melissa's mom was Doris.
Yep.
That's her name.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just love the dynamic between her and Veronica.
I do too. And she's just as cold as Veronica too. She's just so cold. I mean, the 5 minutes when she was in the room with Melissa and Jeffrey, I was thinking, dang.
The fact,
have no heart, do you?
And I feel like the biggest thing was her calling out Jeffrey for being gay. It's like, honey, don't try to hide it. We already know you're gay. He's like, excuse me? It's funny because she's just as cold as Veronica. She just didn't make it to the other side of the tracks like Veronica. She didn't lead the have-not life. She's still a have-not while Veronica's a have. So it's just, again, her dynamic with different characters. I think either you mentioned it or somebody said it early on in the chats, like Veronica's the main pillar of the show, but she would be nothing without these other characters and how she interacts with them, which I totally agree with. So wow, I mean, we can go on and on, but we can wrap things up with one last topic of discussion here, because hopefully this weekend the tech issues won't be as apparent. It looks like everything is going well, because I feel like there are at least over 100 chats right now. This is just, I feel like at some point the two of us should just do like a freestyle recording going over chats, and then I can post that to the YouTube instead of being live. I feel like there will be a lot less issues. But overall, do you have any closing thoughts on this particular stream? Yeah, we can definitely team up for that. But trust me, I know there's a lot more we can say, but do you have any final thoughts before we close out tonight?
Yeah, one thing, I do think that Veronica is just that I don't think that, you know, Veronica is just so, she's just so in control that even if she does die, which God forbid that happens, and I hope to goodness it doesn't, even if she does die, there's going to be things that happen. There's going to be she's going to be working from the grave, so to speak.
Yeah, her presence is going to be felt. Like I was always thinking about that too. Like, you know, she talks about how she wants Jeffrey to live the life she wants. Like, you're going to marry this girl, you're going to raise this grandson, and you're going to do exactly what I say. And I was thinking in the back of my head, what about when she eventually dies? Is Jeffrey going to be this miserable, in the closet homosexual, raising a son and having a wife? Or is he going to be free as soon as Veronica dies? But part of me always suspected that's not the case, and that could go back to the whole puzzle piece scenario where on her deathbed or in her will, she'll probably have like a video will, or, you know, say, hey, everybody but Jeffrey leave the room. Like, you know, the lawyer will be reading the will, and it says like, if Jeffrey does anything to go against my wishes of, you know, living his life as a homosexual, these puzzle pieces are going to come together to destroy you. And I feel like that would be the giant middle finger Veronica gives Jeffrey from the grave, because there's no, I mean, as she told Jim, when is the devil ever resting? Like, when does the devil doesn't take time to rest. From the grave, from hell, she will probably still be raising hell for everybody in her life. So I definitely agree with that. Even if she's killed off, it is not the end of Veronica Harrington.
And who knows, even if she's killed off, we still may even see appearances from Angela Robinson, I don't know, in video form or ghost form or in somebody's dream. Oh
yeah, flashbacks, or, you know, the possibilities are endless because she is so big. Remember, this is why I wish I knew about how to be a YouTuber and whatnot back when the show first started, because my biggest have and have not blog, the biggest have and have not blog was Candace killed by the Malones back in season 2, where they pointed the gun at her head and pulled the trigger. That was my biggest blog ever, because I went in depth. I did research. I talked about how people can sometimes have a physical reaction to like a different scenario. Like if a gunshot goes off, if they think they're shot, then they're going to pass out under the impression they were shot. It's a mental thing. And when it comes down to that, people were guessing. People were going nuts asking the question, was Candace really dead? Now the question is Veronica really dead? The biggest thing back during season 2 was, well, Tinka Sumter at the time was doing movies like Get On Up and doing other appearances and other shows. So she had gotten so big as Candace.
Back when she was in that Get On Up, and she was in Medea's Christmas. And
yeah. Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah. So the fan base was like, well, Tinka Sumter's gotten so big that it makes sense that she gets killed off, but it didn't happen. Same thing with Angela Robinson. Is she killed off because she's so popular? She has so many opportunities and whatnot, but I don't think she's dead. And even if she's quote unquote dead, she's not. I mean, even though Amanda isn't as big as a character, but she still has presence on the show. Like whenever somebody mentions her name in front of Jim, he takes a moment to pause and reflect on his daughter. And of course, the case was reopened when Jennifer told David that I'm investigating because I don't think it was a suicide. I think it's a homicide, showing that Jacqueline Beacom still has a presence on the show, even if she isn't physically there, which is definitely brilliant, because Tyler Perry kills these characters off because the cast members want to move on to different projects, and do this and that. But he at least keeps them in the show to wrap up their storylines for the most part. Not everybody, but for the most part. Wow, that was good. That was good.
And another thing about Veronica, yeah, that was good. And another thing about Veronica, I want to say is I don't want her to die. I don't want her to die. But maybe this accident, and this is a big maybe, maybe this accident might make her see that the things that she does to people is just really not good, that she needs to change the error of her ways.
We say the same thing about Candace. When she walked from the woods without any shoes to an empty apartment after the Malone situation, when she got out of the situation of Oscar took all the money I extorted, Warlock almost killed me, Quincy almost killed me, but I'm still going to live the life I want to live. She has had so many chances she's had so many wake up calls, but she doesn't hit the alarm clock. She doesn't snap out of it. She keeps doing what she's doing. Veronica, I would love for this to be an opportunity for her to see, like, if she's in the hospital and David goes to visit her and just tells her, like, look, I told you that bullying is going to lead to your destruction. Like, he warned her about bullying Jeffrey. And now it's like, look at how you treated Melissa.
Exactly.
Look at how you treated Melissa. And even Jeffrey kept saying, like in the hospital last season, like, Mom, do you not see what you're doing is wrong? How you're treating people and whatnot. And then she's like, just forget about it, because she was in the power chair. But heck, she might end up in a wheelchair and still try to raise hell. But hopefully, if she has a chance to, and this is why I want her mom to show up, to get a better understanding of how she became the woman she is now, and possibly to show.
I think that if her mom does show up, I really can't see anybody else playing her. I think that Cicely Tyson should play her for some reason. I just always have.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people comment on my video I did about that. I said like Felicia Rashad, Jennifer Lewis.
Felicia Rashad, some people even said Oprah.
Yeah, I had a few people talking about that as well.
Yeah, and see, this is another thought. I'm going to reference a show. Are you familiar with the show Empire?
Yes, I don't watch it religiously, but I do know about it. And just to answer questions that will pop up in chat that I know, I talked about it. I would love to do Empire, but oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember Lucius. the last season, I don't know if you remember what happened to Lucius when the car blew up
Didn't he lose a limb?
and he lost his memory. Well, he lost a leg and he lost his memory too. He was like a completely different person. He didn't remember anything.
Yeah,
Because Lucius was always this bad gangster, and he always treated people so bad, and he was just like, he lost his memory, and it was just like, I did this to you, I treated you this way, or I did this to you.
that would be an interesting twist. I mean, Empire is a high-rated show, so for the haves and have-nots to kind of take a little piece of their storyline and put it in there.
But kind of like Veronica would say, Jeffrey would say, well, Mom, you harassed me because I was gay, and you had me beat up by Quincy, and she might say something like, she might have lost her memory. She could say something like, oh my God, I cannot believe I had you. How can you ever forgive me? Please forgive me. If you're gay, who is it of me to stop you? And it could just be a whole different person.
You know what? I think the interesting thing wouldn't be so much her losing her memory, but how everybody will react to the new Veronica. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Oh, well, hey, here's another. Oh, not to interrupt, but do you think David would leave Erica to go back to Veronica? Do you think that would happen?
You know what? I know that David says, all right, I'm through, I'm done. But I do think that after everything they have built together, and if it meant that David had to take care of Veronica, I think he would say something like, Erica, you're a very bright girl, and you're a very beautiful woman, but I can't leave my wife after all these years. I promised her I would be there through sickness and in health, so I have to go back. I'm going to take care of my wife because I still love my wife. So I think that I think he would. I think he would leave Erica if he had to go take care of Veronica.
Just like in Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah, when Helen took care of Charles.
Yep, I agree. And the same.
David wouldn't be mean to Veronica.
No, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would. There's just so many you know what? I feel like what we'll do here, we can shut things off for now. But just for the people out there listening, there are 2 streams I definitely want to do in the near future. Number 1, that's a part 2 to my initial stream last night about does Hannah love Candace? I'm going to do a part 2. And also, we're going to do an entire stream hopefully this weekend or early next week. It's going to be, what if Veronica loses her memory? I feel like that's definitely going to be one heck of a stream where we can just go even further. But all right, before we close out, any last minute thoughts here? Any last minute thoughts?
Well, I just want to say that I really enjoyed collaborating with you. I hope we can do it again in the near future. Hopefully, maybe even tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, I think this weekend we can definitely make it happen.
Because it seems like that you and I have a lot of common thoughts about the series.
Oh, I full-heartedly agree. You know what the best part is? The fact that we're coming up with these great that's why I love doing the videos. It's like all these theories, but then the best part is when you're watching the show and a character confirms one of my theories. I'm like, yes, that's like the biggest just seal of approval that I can get from being the guy that does all these theory videos. So when somebody confirms one of my theories to be true, that's just that giant pat on the back there. So I feel like these discussions are great, but things are going to be even better once the show is on and we speculate week to week what's going to happen next.
Oh yeah, exactly. And as soon as the show goes off, hopefully at 10 o'clock, we can do even more live streams.
Yes, sir. That is the plan. I want to try my best to watch the episode live at 9 o'clock. I'll be on Twitter and whatnot. Then around 9, then around maybe let's say 10:05, because right after the episode we're going to get a preview of the next week. So maybe around 10:10 or 10:15, I'll be on a live stream, which would be perfect because I feel at that time the stream will have a lot of viewers because people on Twitter and the hashtag for the haves and the have-nots, I'll be like, look, we got a live stream going on right now, so go ahead, join in. We can definitely get the conversation going because the way I'm thinking I have the schedule planned out, episode comes on, live stream after we discuss it, then maybe Wednesday, Thursday. Well, that's the thing I love about Thursday. There's going to be a little break there because if Loving You Is Wrong is Wednesday, then The Pains is on Friday. So I can use Wednesday and Thursday.
Loving You Is Wrong comes on at 10.
Yes.
Loving You Is Wrong comes on at 10. That means the stream's going to be at 11 o'clock.
I know. Hey, I mean, I don't know if I could promise a stream every week for that show because it depends on the people's interest in it. I mean, I'll definitely be up for it, but I mean, I think I did that live.
My mother and I, we watch it. Loving You Is Wrong. We like it, but our top priority is no question the haves and the have-nots. We can watch it. Loving You Is Wrong, but if we miss it, it's okay. We'll catch it on
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But we have to watch the haves and the have-nots. We have to watch it live. There's no question about it.
I can tell you right now, if like let's say Tuesday night we get one heck of an episode and then the preview is just gushing with all these like scenes and possible theories, the haves and the have-nots will be like all the videos I do that week. Like, you know, like I'll do with Loving You Is Wrong and The Pain that weekend, but the haves and the have-nots will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday if there's like enough content to keep it going. Like I'll still pay attention to the other shows, but like I'm going to tune into The Pains. Like I want to do episode reviews on the first few, but if I fall out of it, then I fall out of it. But haves and the have-nots number one. The Pains is actually number two just because of the hype behind it. Like, you know, the fact that they're doing a spinoff of the popular House of Pain show. I just want to see, especially with Tyler Perry leaving, the fact that he's introducing a new show, it has me wondering, he must have a lot of faith in this show if he's going to be reviving it. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Exactly. And another thing about the haves and the have-nots and all this, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, Jeremy, but if it were me, I would not change. I like the fact that you've got the channel Tyler Perry, the haves and the have-nots review. I wouldn't change the name of that channel.
Heck no. I mean, my original channel name was like JCC Theories. I forgot what it was. But after I changed it to the Haves and Have-Nots review, yeah, that's when it shot up. That's when it just shot. Like I only had a couple hundred subscribers, maybe 1,000, maybe, I don't know, maybe. But then after I changed that name, that's when the numbers started pouring in. And also the fact that I've been the fact that I've been doing all these videos and tweets during the off season, that means when the new season kicks in, when people like Google and whatnot and YouTube, I should be one of the first things that pops up.
Exactly. I'm just glad that it worried me back in the summer when you were going through all this copy, because I remember when you were as a matter of fact, I'm looking at it right here. I remember the history because the video that got taken down was "Did Jennifer's Body Affect the Plot?" And I was like, why is that? That's not right. That was on the
verge of being one of my top videos. I was so ticked off because the monetization from that was big. Yeah. Thankfully, you know, after emailing a couple people, Tyler Perry Studios like took me off the watch list because apparently they have like this automatic internet system set up, so they automatically get links to any kind of video that has the title of the show in it. And the question I'm wondering is, how am I being flagged for doing these reviews, but the channels that have full episodes aren't getting taken down? And I'm just like, what the heck? So I told them about that. They worked it out.
I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, and I've researched everything, I've researched a lot, I'm pretty sure that that's illegal. I'm pretty sure that should not be allowed.
It is illegal.
What do I know?
Hey, I mean, this sounds kind of weird, but it's the internet, so almost anything goes. I mean, it would not surprise me if there are websites and whatnot with full episodes. I mean, look at the day and age we live in. It is illegal, but yes, it is most likely out there. It most likely is.
Because if I see an episode of the haves and the have-nots on YouTube, I flag it. I'll be honest with you. I flag it and I flag the channel and I report it because it's illegal.
Yep, and then if you have all these channels and whatnot doing this, it kills the ratings, which could kill the show, and that's exactly what we don't want. Yeah, Destiny Destiny says in all caps, there are websites with full episodes. I'm not surprised by that. Hey, it is what it is, but you know what? I know what I do, and hopefully my little branch of the internet does what it can to keep the have and have-nots alive even during the off season. So with that being said, definitely a privilege speaking with you again. I'll definitely reach out to you this weekend on when we can pick up where we left off, because I feel the topic of will Veronica lose her memory will definitely get a lot of views. But hey, Chandler, hope you have a wonderful night, man. I'll talk to you later.
You too.